If there's one part of this country I like the most, it has to be the Nigerian Labour Congress, because these people are very active when it comes to their dealings and their seriousness. Okay, their work is so smooth, and what they say yes, it is yes. If their demands are not met, strike. Okay, so now today, reaching us today, we have that the NLC has declared a nationwide strike on Monday over minimum wage and electricity tariff hike. Okay, now let's stay together. The organized labor comprising the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress (TUC) and the NLC has announced the commencement of an indefinite nationwide strike starting Monday, June 3rd, 2024. The action comes as a direct response to the unfruitful negotiations with the government over the proposed minimum wage and the recent controversial increase in electricity tariff. The negotiations finally collapsed yesterday after failed seventh attempts by the 37 members tripartite committee to reach a definite minimum wage figure for Nigerian workers, with the organized labor expressing frustration over the government's lack of commitment and representation at the negotiation meeting yesterday. Reacting to the declaration of the strike, the federal government accused Labour of walking out of negotiations and acting hastily. While the meeting has been scheduled for Monday, although the federal government at the meeting earlier in the week shifted ground from the previous 57,000 naira to a new proposal of 60,000 naira. However, the organized labor rejected the offer, even though they reduced their demand from 497,000 stands of last week to 494,000 naira. The federal government, through the Minister of Labour and Employment, Nkeruka Onyeji-Ocha, further appealed to the organized labor to be considerate and patriotic in their demands for a new minimum wage. However, the appeal landed on deaf ears, particularly as the labor unions insisted on workers' living wage that reflects the current economic realities. At a briefing in Abuja yesterday to herald the strike, both the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC), led by the President, Comrade Joe Ajero, and the President of the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria (TUC), stated that there was no substantive ministers presented at the reconvened meeting, and therefore no federal government authority to make decisions. The labor unions have expressed further disappointment with the government's lack of seriousness and apparent disregard for the demands of the Nigerian workers. The absence of key government officials at the negotiation meeting has been cited by the labor union leader as evidence of the government's disinterest in resolving the negotiations of the new minimum wage. ANT had reported how the organized labor issued ultimatum to the federal government on May 1st, 2024, where they lamented the absence of the meaningful progress from the government's side. However, the ultimatum demands include the conclusion of the minimum wage negotiations by the end of May and a reversal of the electricity tariff hike from 225 kWh to 65 kWh. However, despite a nationwide protest on May 13th on the electricity tariff increments and widespread public outcry, the government's response has been deemed by the labor as inadequate. Both NLC and TUC have emphasized that Nigerian workers, who form the backbone of the nation's economy, are entitled to fair wages that align with current economic realities. They said the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) and Trade Union Congress (TUC) expressed grave concern and disappointment over the federal government's failure to conclude and pass into law a new National Minimum Wage Act and reverse the vexatious hike in electricity tariff to 65 kWh. Furthermore, today's meeting further demonstrated the unseriousness and apparent contempt with which the Nigerian state holds the demands of Nigerian workers and people. No governor was present and ministers absent except the Minister of State for Labour and Employment, who doubles as a conciliator. There was none present on the side of the government with appropriate authority to commit them to any outcome. In essence, government abandoned the meeting. They continued we lack this disdainful and shows lack of commitment to a successful national minimum wage negotiation exercise. In light of this persistent action, we, the Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress, hereby issue a notice of commencement of an indefinite nationwide strike to the federal government. We reiterate that since the national minimum wage negotiation exercise has not been concluded and the agreed wage passed into law, the hike in electricity tariff not reversed and categorization of customers into bands not stopped as demanded, Nigerian workers are compelled to these failures to embark on an indefinite nationwide industrial action beginning on Monday, the 3rd of June 2024 to press home our demands. Furthermore, they called on all affiliates, state councils, civil society organizations, marketmen and women, and the general populace to unite in demanding the government's attention to the welfare of its people. Now, having said this we are hearing from the NLC and the TUC combined. Now, let us hear what the government has to say. But according to the statement released by members of the Tripartite Committee on the National Minimum Wage at the last meeting on Tuesday, 28 May 2024, all tripartite partners were invited to make their offers. Employers made up of government side and organized private sector, the committee said, made offers for 60,000 per month, which is 100% increase in the existing national minimum wage of 2009. On their part, the organized labor made an offer of 494,000 per month, which is an increase of 1,547% on the existing minimum wage of 2019. The statement read, during the course of the meeting, organized labor left the meeting to continue further consultations before they shift grounds again. Furthermore, these decisions were arrived at the meeting with full attendance, including the personal attendance of the Honorable Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Honorable Minister of Budget and National Planning, as well as Honorable Minister of Labour and Employment. The meeting was later adjourned to Monday, 3rd of June 2024. The committee said, however, after the chairman reached out to the organized labor and they agreed to hold the meeting on Friday, 31st May 2024, and notices were sent to all members. At the meeting, organized labor, when called upon to make their concession or new offers outside of the last 494,000 per month when they requested, insisted that the employers to first shift grounds. Both sides stated that their offers of 60,000 per month, which is a 100% increase on the existing national minimum wage of 2019, were based on prevailing economic considerations and government non-monetary incentives. Therefore, organized labor, the committee said, walked out of the meeting. During the continuation of the meeting, the government further defended their offer of 60,000 per month was based on economic considerations and non-monetary incentives, which include the following: 35% wage award for all treasury paid federal workers, 100 billion naira for the procurement of CNG, fueled buses and CNG conversion kits, 125 billion naira conditional grants and financial inclusive of MSMEs, 25,000 naira each to be shared to 15 million households for 3 months, 185 billion naira palliatives loan to states to cushion the effect of fuel subsidy removal, 200 billion to support the cultivation of hectares of land to boost food production, 75 billion naira to strengthen the manufacturing sector, 1 trillion naira for student loans for higher education, release of 42,000 metric tons of grains for strategic reserves, purchase and onward distribution of 60,000 metric tons of rice from the Rice Millers Association, recent salary increase of 25 to 35% on all consolidated salary structures for federal workers, 90% subsidy on health costs for federal civil servants registered on NHIS, light rail commissioned in Abuja to relieve transportation costs till the end of the year. Lagos State has already commenced same initiative with their blue and red lines. In addition to the freedom of civil servants to engage in agriculture, federal government has approved the inclusion of ICT services for alternate sources of income. In conclusion, the meeting agreed that even where major and small businesses are closing down with consequent loss of jobs, the outcome of a new national minimum wage should be such that it will not trigger further massive job losses. It further noticed that linking the strike to electricity hike with the NMW determination was not fair for the negotiating parties.